I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night from where you're watching this. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to properly do camera tracking when you're adding VFX for videos. I'll be using this footage over here to track, and I also have something a bit different. I think it will give us a good dynamic. To start tracking, find your trackers tab, and if you can't find it right here, go to window and have it enabled. Now I want you to understand the main difference between tracking the camera and tracking the motion. Let's say we wanted to attach something on this headlight or probably this side mirror over here. We will go with track motion, since right after clicking it, it will take us to a layers tab, and it will also provide us with a tracking point that we can now place on this and then follow it frame by frame and have it analyzed. So that's the main difference between these two. These will be specific to this area mostly. The difference between that and tracking camera is that with the track camera, we'll be working inside our comp, and once you click it, it will open these. Once the camera track is done solving, you'll kind of get these track points all over, and if we scroll through, you can see there is a bit of consistency with these. You can also increase the track point sizes if you want bigger indicators. Once again, we are working under the fixed angle view because this is kind of a normal shot. Nothing too sporadic is changing. And if you click under the advanced tab, we have this solving method. Under the solving methods, you can see that we have a couple of solving techniques. On most cases, you'll be using the auto detect, but for a scene like this one that I showed you here, if I do the tracking, I'm giving it a second to finish analyzing. After giving it a couple of seconds to solve, it returned with this error, and this will be mainly because the solving method can't really identify how to work with this. I will change the solving method to a mostly flat scene, and if I scroll through this clip, you can see there is a bit of zooming in or movement that goes towards and away from the character. So I'll also change the shot type to a variable zoom. Let's see if it can solve this. With the changes that we've done, you can see that the analysis was able to run through successfully, and it has provided some tracking points based on the information that we gave it. I'll jump back to our initial clip, click on it. If you can't see the tracking points, it's because you need to click on the effect itself on your effect controls. Now you can begin identifying areas where you want to add something or track an element. Now something else that you can also look out for is the average error. Keep it at 1 or less than 1 to have something that will track much more properly. So in this case, I can now hover onto an area like this, right click and create a solid and camera, and it will create a solid that stays right over there. If I right click on it and pre-compose it but leave all attributes in this, what it will do is that if we double click and go into the solid, we can place whatever we want right here. So for example, I can place this GTA icon over here such that if we go back, that's what we'll be seeing. And now you can hit R and rotate this around to place it how you want. Now I will undo that. Another way that you can do this is that we can drag this directly while holding Alt. So from my project bin, I will go with my Alt button on this track solid, and it will replace it directly, and it should be well tracked over here. And I can now adjust these parameters any way that I want to, something like that. We can still track more elements into this frame. Click on the 3D camera tracker to see the camera track points again. You can click and drag across multiple points, although most times you'll also run into issues with that method. I'd prefer just finding a good tracking area. I can go with this one, create a solid, and then I will pre-comp this just as I showed you earlier on, leave all the attributes, and let's add a couple of lyrics on this section. I disabled the solid below and added a couple of effects on these texts such that if we go back to it, we can now adjust the orientation. Scrolling through, you can see that our items have been well tracked into the scene and they blend well into this. So this is kind of a basic tutorial on camera tracking. I will be doing some more advanced stuff on the next tutorial, whereby we'll be doing some face mesh tracks using Mocha Pro. So make sure to check that one out when it comes out. My name is Danny James. See you guys on the next tutorial. Peace out.